everything's serious. I'm like, I gotta pee. Can I go?
I feel like that would be me trying to teach you something, and then you're like,
Come on, Peter Tingle.
See you in a minute.
Truth is, I am a Jedi.
Delectable tea or deadly poison?
It's glorious.
Want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
I can do this all day.
Yeah, I know.
A man.
Assemble.
My cabbages!
This is the way.
Our venom.
That's rough, buddy.
When we hit our lowest point, we are open to the greatest change.
We'll get a shot here. Final seconds. Bryant for the win. Bang!
hello everybody. My name is Hector, and this is
Leo.
this is the Little Big Brother podcast, and I want to thank you everybody for joining in.
Yep.
We're gonna start by doing our first episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender,
Yep.
Book 1.
Yep. And if you can't tell, this is the first episode of the podcast. So if we mess up, just laugh along with us. It's gonna be okay.
This is technically our first podcast together.
Yep.
So
it should be fun. So the gist of our podcast is, right, half of it is we're gonna be talking about Avatar: The Last Airbender. So we're gonna go episode by episode, and you guys are more than welcome to follow along with us. I feel like most of the world has seen this show already, but if not, follow along with us.
I mean, who hasn't? And
Exactly.
whoever hasn't should see it.
Exactly.
Except not the movie.
Not the
movie. Was
We don't-
horrible.
We don't speak of it.
We don't even speak of it. Exactly.
What movie?
It doesn't exist.
Exactly. Okay, so without further ado, let's start the recap or the watching of the show.
Yeah, so we're actually gonna be doing a little bit something different. So we're actually gonna be watching each episode while we do the podcast. So it's gonna be playing in the background.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you can see in my stream, but it's playing right there, like in the left corner. But so this way, we'll sort of do a little play-by-play, maybe pause and talk about the character building,
Mm-hmm.
some of their martial arts, the water bending, the different styles, and stuff that we know about the episode, and things that we think is really cool or are actually really relevant with even our time right now. When this, even though this show is old, it was in what year was it?
2005, I think.
Yeah, 2005.
2005.
So it's like 16 years old, and it's still relevant to things that go on in our society, which is actually pretty awesome.
It's so great. So the first episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender is called "The Boy in the Iceberg." What does that mean? You'll find out soon.
All right. The funny thing is, we're also going to be playing it. We're each trying to play it at the same time, so take a little bit of effort trying to get the exact same second.
Oh yeah, we're definitely gonna be pausing, and one of us is gonna be ahead of the other, but we'll make it work.
All right, so let's start this.
Yeah. So the little synopsis of this episode is Sokka and Katara, two teenage siblings living in the South Pole, discover Aang and his pet flying bison. Yes, a flying bison. His name is Appa. Trapped in an iceberg. After Katara frees him, she discovers that he is an airbender, and the siblings take him to their home village in the Southern Water Tribe. Meanwhile, his unfreezing attracts the attention of the Fire Nation's Zuko, intent on capturing him. Dun dun dun. I like that.
Very well.
That's a
Very
good
well done.
synopsis. I didn't think of it, but thank you to the internet for helping with that. All
The
right.
internet's amazing. All right.
So, without further ado, we'll start it and we'll just do a little watch along.
So in the beginning, as we're starting it, you're gonna get to see the four elements.
Yep. And what are
Which
the
I
four
think is
elements?
cool.
I'm quizzing you.
Right.
I'm quizzing you, Hector. What are the four elements?
Fire, water, earth, and air.
Yes.
Wait, did I say in the right order? Yeah, fire.
Yeah. Wait. No. Fire, air, water, earth.
Yes, there you go. Correct.
Air.
And you'll see what that means later on because there's a certain order that it follows. But those are the four bending styles.
Exactly.
All right. So let's
go.
hit play.
So right, this intro was telling all the four bendings. Each one is a different martial arts, which you'll see it throughout this show. But it's so interesting right here at the very beginning. You're getting introduced to the world and then like the four nations. But then right off the bat, you're basically told that the Fire Nation has attacked the rest of the world.
Right.
And then there's like one person who can control all other elements that's supposed to bring peace. But I don't know, you're thrown into a very like scary world, even though this is a kids show. Like,
right. True. And just a little side note. So I looked up and said about the different styles of bending. So each style that is represented even in the intro. So like air bending is based on bug cow martial arts.
mm-hmm.
Water bending is based on Tai Chi. Earth bending is based on Hungarian style Kung Fu. And fire bending is based on northern Shaolin Kung Fu. So I loved how like the writers and the animators did such a great job on showing everyone the style, because I mean you brought it brought all this to us at such a young age, and it became like all the fight scenes I thought were super awesome.
Oh yeah.
You know, seeing it in this and brought to animation.
Yeah, I heard behind the scenes they did have somebody on set who was a like black belt martial artist who would show them the correct forms and the correct way of doing the martial art. So that's
awesome.
That they put that into an anime show. It's great. So if you're seeing this part of the episode, you saw some water bending already, and Sokka and Katara arguing. I always like the lines that they're talking about when Sokka tells Katara how you're doing your magic, like it's not really. He's not saying water bending, right? He's like, you're playing with your magic. So it's
Sokka's your typical like older brother that is a little bit jealous at the same time that the sister, it's like the younger sister's the well liked one or the spoiled one, but in this instance she's the one with the with water bending, so he doesn't have it. So he's very witty, but at the same time he's also a big brother, which picks on the younger sibling.
That's
all
true.
the time.
That's true. I know that pain.
Yes. You got corrected. Let's just say you got corrected a lot to make you a wonderful young man.
That's true. Oh man. So yeah, so like it's so odd that I mean they live in a little tribe, a small tribe in the southern water tribe and the South Pole. So nobody has been a waterbender there. They haven't seen somebody waterbend. So like what other way can you like talk about it other than it being like, oh, that's like just some little magic trick that you can do with your hands.
Right.
It's not an actual form or it's not an actual martial art that they're talking about.
Yeah, and then Sokka being the male of one of the males of the tribe, he's like, a manly man, so he has to, he does the hunting, and you know, he he thinks it's like he thinks so old fashioned because it's like he does the hunting, the women does the sewing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He's like that's the I guess his outlook of himself.
Yeah. But
And
he's kind of had to because like right at the beginning they said like the men of the tribe went to fight in the war, so he's kind of like right, he feels like he's got to be the man
right,
of the house.
right. Here's this like 16-year-old that basically has to grow up and is put under all this pressure to become like the man of the tribe,
Yeah.
which is a lot of pressure.
Yeah. And then and then he has his sister Katara who will put him in his place when he needs to most of the time. Oh my.
Yeah, like when they got so as they're going along, they're searching, they're for fish, and then this is where Katara they get in this argument, and
like all siblings do.
She starts yelling at him, and just like siblings do, but she gets all angry and fed up with him, and then since water is, I think it's based off of emotion,
Yeah.
so she ends up like cracking this iceberg.
Yeah.
And then that's when they see this like the boy in the iceberg.
Yeah. Name of the episode.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess this is where you do quotes.
The boy in the iceberg. I mean, but yeah, it's so funny. It's like icebergs. We always hear about icebergs. Like you see the tip of the iceberg, which is just like a tiny little thing, but you don't realize how big of an iceberg is under. So
right, exactly.
Luckily in this one, there is a boy and his flying bison inside of it.
So they don't even know what that is. So her first reaction is to basically, go and try and save this boy stuck there.
Right, somebody's stuck. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So she keeps on hitting this, frozen iceberg, and then like voila, here comes Aang and his bison.
Yep, and this giant, and then you get to see all these like little seals. Here's another thing with the show, like you will see different animals, and it's like different weird hybrid animals.
It's so cool, but I think it's so cool how they made them all hybrid.
It is. Oh, okay. So this is your first introduction to Zuko. So I have a little thing. Look, if you look at Iroh, like the thing that he's holding, it's an airbender. It has like a little airbender sign on the little tile that.
Oh yeah, his little card. So he's playing like what's that card game?
It's just a simple little thing, but the creators literally he's holding an airbender sign, and of course the beam of light shines up at the exact same time, and you're like, aha, there's a little connection.
and then you see right away like what kind of personality these two characters are. So you have Zuko, who's been introduced, and you can sort of tell he's a little bit uptight, and and then you have Iroh, who it hasn't been, he's his uncle who's very calm, playing his card game.
Mhm.
He's just like it's okay.
Yeah. Huh. If it's like, we'll figure it out. Just have some tea, relax. Yeah. Oh man. I love the humor of Nickelodeon. Just the
Yeah.
little noises, you like the little poking of a head, like brunk brunk.
Oh yeah. Sokka tries to wake up Aang by poking him in his head with his little this is like a staff.
Yeah. And then you get a little glimpse of like what, you know, it's a little boy seeing a girl, oh, is he okay?
And then you get a glimpse of like what kind of like how young he is, because like he wakes up, you know, for who knows how long he's been in there. And
Mm-hmm. We won't
first
spoil
thing
it.
to ask is like, you want to go like penguin sledding.
Yeah. He wants to have fun. He's a 12-year-old boy. So he still wants to, be a kid.
Right.
Yeah. Little does he know, it's harder to be a kid
Kid
at this point.
kid with a huge bison.
Yep. Kid was a huge bison as a pet. Don't you want a bison? I think
I would.
if there's any animal in this show like I would want, it would be like Appa to just fly around on a bison.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. Except if the bison has allergies, because that's really nasty.
And then Sokka's always a character because ends up getting the butt of the jokes. So he
Yeah.
tries to, which is funny because he's the one that probably makes fun of other things the most. So he ends up, karma always comes around. Like
Oh yeah.
when Appa sneezed at him and get him all covered in,
Yeah.
like boogers.
Yep. He's right. He's being the all cynical one. So like, of course he gets sneezed on. And so all right here. All right. We don't want to spoil anything yet, because of course the episodes are coming after it. But I mean, the simple fact that you just see Aang sneeze and then he gets flown up into the air. And I love the little joke how like Sokka's like, you flew 12 feet. And then Aang's like, oh, I thought it was higher than that. Like, what?
Yeah, so this is their first,
Yeah.
They've never seen like an airbender, because you can.
Yeah. I don't know if they've seen anybody from than their tribe, right?
Oh, that's right. I don't think they have. I mean,
So
other than I think the Fire Nation, but
maybe, yeah.
other than that, yeah, you're right. I don't think they've really been outside their tribe because they're only like 16 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, 14 and 16.
Yeah. So it's right. It's, if anything, it's just stories at this point.
Right.
There's been 100 years, like they're
Yeah. Everything's only been stories or myths.
Yeah, and we'd say Katara and Sokka are like, how would you say they're old? They're like 14 or 15, I think.
Yeah. Sokka's 16. Katara's 14.
Yeah.
And
So
I
they're
think Zuko, who we were introduced a little while ago, is 17, and Aang is 12.
Yeah. This can be like a little fun place to put it, that, I mean, if this is your first time watching Avatar: Last Airbender on Netflix, like, enjoy, have fun. But in the meantime, there is a show on Netflix that is going to be about this show, but it's with real people. So in the news right now, like they just cast those 4 characters that we're watching and being introduced right now.
Yeah, but I don't think that's not going to come out till.
Oh God,
maybe like
in 1 or 2 years.
23. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully, it's better than the movie that we don't speak of.
Yeah, a lot. So here,
This is
So
interesting.
Katara's curious. So as they all got on on Aang's bison. Oh my gosh, I don't know why I just blanked out on his name.
Oh, Appa.
On Appa. Thank you. And so they were expecting to fly, but obviously, I guess being stuck in the iceberg was draining. So they're sort of floating across the ocean. So she's asking him questions because she's curious. Like that. Hey, you're an airbender. Because they, like I said, they've never seen an airbender before.
Yeah, but they know stories, so I think they
Right.
they knew that the Avatar was an airbender.
Right.
So right, they're asking him. They ask him if he knew the airbender and the Avatar. But this is one of those instances where you're seeing how Aang is like ashamed, or he doesn't want to talk about it.
Right, because he has a little flashback. So I guess he falls asleep, or they end up getting where they're getting,
Mm-hmm.
where they're going, and so he falls asleep, and then he has a flashback of how he got into the iceberg, but not exactly. But all you see is basically that there was a wave. They went under the ocean, and he went into what you would call the avatar state, which we'll explain more about later. But and then that's put him in an iceberg. So it doesn't really say how long he's been there.
Yeah.
And then when he wakes up, Katara goes to get him. She sees all his tattoos, and I think that's when she realizes that he is the Avatar because of all his tattoo markings.
Yeah. And then once they get to the village, their grandma tells him that, how are you an airbender? It's been 100 years. They've been extinct. And I mean, being a 12-year-old kid, he registers it, but then kind of like brushes it off. But that's like
Right.
that's like his first instance of like, wait, what do you mean? It's so interesting, but it's so interesting seeing how it's a kids show, so like you don't want it to be all sad and dark. You want to
Right.
like have fun because he was a kid.
And then being 12, you don't think too much of negative, and if something's gonna make you sad, you just try to like, oh, okay, well, I want to go have fun.
Exactly.
You try to like, their attention span is not all there.
No. And I mean, that's
easily distracted. They're easily distracted. That's what it is. They're just easily distracted.
Yeah. And that's what he did. He goes around, flies around the village, and then he crashes into Sokka's watchtower. And then, of course, Sokka gets buried by the snow that falls from the watchtower. So Sokka always gets stuff happening to him all the time. And this part always reminds me of Dumb and Dumber. Like,
oh my gosh, yeah.
Tongue, like it's stuck to the tongue because it's cold and frozen.
Yeah. So Katara is saying that this could be like her, her opportunity to learn, because that she knows that he's the Avatar, and he's like, this could be my opportunity to learn from him. And so they go to a clip of him, having his tongue stuck to his staff, like in the movie Dumb and Dumber.
Like it's frozen. He's like, I can't get it out. That's great. And then we're brought back to Zuko.
Yeah, then it goes back to Zuko, and then you can just see like how that he's skilled. He's a skilled fighter.
Mm-hmm.
He's just one of those. He just has that look and feel of a determined young person. Like, he's just determined.
The type of person, the type of person in a way, like stuff hasn't come easy for him, and he's had to work. Like you can tell he's the type of person that like he feels like he's had to work for where he is, in a way.
And then I love Iroh. I love Uncle Iroh. He's just like, let me eat this food really quick.
I
love him. I think he's one of my favorite characters, to be honest. I think he's one of my favorites.
Arrow's the best.
I love all the characters, but I think he's one of my favorites.
Oh yeah, you tend to just fall in love with the person that he is, and just everybody wants to have an Iroh in their life.
Yeah.
Right. That's so true. Let's see.
And then now it shoots it, but so after that scene with Iroh, then it shoots back to Katara and Sokka, and Sokka's trying to basically not give orders or to teach his
little kids.
Yeah, the little kids, and treating them like men, like like they're in the army, but he's like they're younger than Aang. They're probably like 7 years old.
Yeah. Yeah, and one of them's like, I love the part with like, I gotta pee. I was like, yeah, that's what you're gonna get when you're with little kids. Now where we get to the episode where finally Aang gets to finally possibly penguin sled.
Oh yeah, he's so determined to go penguin sledding. But I mean, look at the size of those penguins. I mean, I would too. That would be so much fun.
Those penguins are like 4 feet tall. Yeah, and this is where you kind of get where Aang is still acting like a little kid, but then you see Katara, and you can see how she's had more responsibility in her village, that going penguin sledding is something that comes to her mind to do.
Right.
So you see the dynamics or the differences, and then like how Aang, I don't know, he brings out the kid in everybody in a way, I guess. He brings like a
right. Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, because Katara's sort of like she's like the mom.
The mom of the group, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, she acts like, even though she's younger than Sokka, she acts like his mom.
Oh yeah.
But at the same time, their mom is missing, or not missing. Their mom, is gone, so she sort of had to fill that role.
Yeah. So it's understandable. So we're getting like they're penguin sledding, which looks extremely awesome.
Yeah, it's like their version of like snowboarding.
Yeah. So
But
every animal, right? Every animal is half and half of something. I think from what I've read, Appa is half bison and a half manatee. That's why
that makes sense.
That's why when he's flying, his like paws are like that, or like that, and he's just like gliding. So it looks like a manatee.
That's funny. Yeah, that's true.
So these penguins, I don't know. I want to say maybe like half penguin and half like seal.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
I was gonna think otter, but otter's too small. So I think half penguin, half seal, at least.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Maybe.
Yeah.
And then so after they're done penguin sledding, they end up finding an old Fire Nation ship.
Yeah.
Which came, obviously was left there from the last time that they attacked their tribe.
Yeah, it's basically like a relic.
Yeah, and obviously when something bad happens, everyone's like, don't ever go in there.
No,
so what's Aang want to do? Of course, go explore.
Of course.
Wouldn't you? I would.
Yeah, it's a giant abandoned ship. Yeah, of course. Wouldn't you want? Don't you want to go like into like abandoned buildings and see what's inside? Of course, even if it's like haunted or something.
And then what happens at the end? They have to abandon ship. Get it?
Yeah. What you're gonna see is while being in there, they trigger a trap.
Right, like they trigger a booby trap, and then that, by accident, and then that basically sends up a big sign. It's like a fire, like a firework, basically letting them know that there's a Fire Nation ship here,
Yeah,
and you know,
and they caught something basically.
yeah. So of course, what happened? They do exactly what they weren't supposed to do,
Yep.
and that is exactly why you weren't supposed to go there. So I mean, it's a typical thing that happens when you're a young kid, you know.
Yeah, exactly. So and right before they set off the booby trap, it finally hits him that he's 100 years has passed, because like before, right, we don't know yet, but like I don't know, he's just a little kid. There's How does a little kid comprehend 100 years passing? Like he's 12.
Right, especially if he doesn't feel it, and I feel like when you're younger, you don't hit things don't hit you right away. It takes you time to like sink things
Yeah,
in, and
yeah.
then you're just like, oh, like
Time
when the
passes
noise
just
finally quiets down, then you're just like, then you think about like, oh, like okay, 100 years is passing.
yeah. So of course the booby trap goes off, the signal goes, and of course who is seeing them is Zuko. So of course he's tracking them, and I love his determination is great. So he feels like he's found the avatar, the airbender that he's been looking for, and I I do love the fact that the episode ends and it's to be continued, which is great. But I like how he thinks that this avatar, the person that he's looking for, is like 100-year-old man that he's gonna deal with. He doesn't know yet that it's a 12-year-old boy.
Right, which would make sense. I mean, because he's told that the Avatar's gonna be like 100 something. It's
Yeah,
been 100 years, and that it was like someone from the Air Nation, and so they were wiped out like 100 years ago. So yeah, the Avatar would be 100 years.
it makes total sense.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm sure when we continue in our next one, you'll see what happens once he goes to go find out who that is, who the Avatar. Once they meet,
Exactly.
very
Exactly.
exciting.
So that was it. That was the first episode of Avatar:
But
The Last Airbender.
I think it was a great episode because I mean it's a great starter episode. I loved the. I think one of my favorite parts is the beginning because it's like tells you a short little story about
Yeah.
basically about just a little quick summary of what the Avatar show is going to be about.
Oh yeah, it introduces you to the world and just like
Right,
very quickly.
quickly, and it's like sweet and perfect.
Yeah, there's a war. There's an avatar who master four elements. He or she can bring peace, and then we're in the world. We're in this now. You're in this part of the world at this moment in time. It does it perfectly. I think my favorite part is when Sokka's trying to teach the little kids, and then it's just the little kids like, I gotta pee. I feel like that'd be me.
That's
Like,
funny. Yeah, that would be you.
yeah, everything's serious. I'm like, I gotta pee. Can I go?
I feel like that would be me trying to teach you something, and then you're like, I gotta pee, and I'd be like, hold it.
Yep. All right. Let's see. Favorite animal in this episode.
Mine would be the penguin.
The penguins.
Yeah.
I like. We're gonna see Appa, so I feel like there's gonna be episodes where we're gonna like love Appa more. So I'll give it to the not the penguins, but I like the little seals because you don't see them you don't see them that
Oh
much.
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But they're like tiger seals. They have like, I don't know, little pointy ears. Very very like subtle, but like, I don't know. They look cool. They look cool. So anything else that first time viewers, or maybe this is like the 10th or 11th time somebody is watching this again, what can we say? What can we say to them to like expect the next episodes or the rest of the season going forward?
I mean, I think they just get better. To be honest, like each episode gets better, and then it like it draws you into the whole story, and you know,
really
just the background too of each episode, and like the detail of like each, because obviously you're gonna travel around all the different nations, so you're gonna see all the detail that goes into everything is just awesome. But I feel like it just sucks you. So each episode will get better and better, and then if you're watching it on Netflix, you'll just let it keep on playing.
Oh, for sure.
You'll become a couch potato until you finish it.
Exactly. Yeah, the world that they build is so great, and it feels like it's alive. So,
right.
I mean, we're watching it again, and I feel like we've watched it multiple times before that. I can't even tell you what number this time of rewatching it is. So we're in a good point of this show that came out in 2005 is still relevant in it got so popular in 2020, and then it's still pretty popular in 2021, that we have a lot to look forward to. Like, not just the Netflix show, which that can be a conversation for another day, that what we think about it and hope what it could be. But we have the creators of Avatar: The Last Airbender. What are their names? Brian. One of them's named Brian. I don't know the other guy's name. Matt?
That's horrible.
Oh, Michael. I'm so sorry. Brian Konietzko and Michael Dante DiMartino. Those are the creators of Avatar: Last Airbender. Hey, this is our first episode. We're learning on the go.
Make a note. We love them. We love them.
We love them. So we have so much to look forward to. They not only did they create this, they created The Legend of Korra, and then all the comic books, the other books for the Rise of Kyoshi, those books, but they also created the Avatar Studios.
Right, which are gonna have a bunch of other more.
Yeah, it's
way more stuff. I mean, there's so much that can go with the stories. There's so many. Once we get more into it, I mean, there's so many backstories that it can be, so many different characters that it can be that we want to know about. Like, you know, what became of them, or what happened to them before. You know, what were they before they even met? Like, even. Like, one of my favorite characters is Iroh. I mean, I would love to know more about Iroh. And obviously, we're gonna learn more about Iroh throughout the whole. He's one of the main characters.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, he's a sub character. I guess maybe he would be a sub main character, or
he's pretty. Yeah, he's important. Like he's important. He's important.
Yeah.
We could say main.
He's important.
Yeah.
So. That's as much as we're gonna say. He's important, but you learn. I think they do a good job of giving you an introduction to almost everyone's backstory, at least a little bit.
Yeah. In this first episode,
at the end, you end up wanting more.
Yeah. So, at the moment, we have so much to look forward to. We got the rest of this season, but like, even in the future, we got like, there's a whole company, a division of Nickelodeon for Avatar Studios that's going to come out with more stories. So this is only the beginning. This is exciting.
Well, we want to thank you, everybody. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed. So stay tuned for our next episode, and we'll go on episode number 2, book 1.
Sounds good. We'll talk to you guys later.
All right, bye.
See ya.